The New Silk Roads, The Present and Future of the World, by Peter Frankopan, is an exploration of the interconnectedness of the world, focusing on the historical and contemporary significance of the Silk Roads. The book argues that the Silk Roads, which were originally trade routes connecting East Asia to Europe, have had a profound impact on the development of civilization and continue to shape the modern world. Frankopan examines the economic, political, and cultural forces that have shaped these routes over time, as well as the implications of their continued importance for the future of global politics and trade. The book begins by tracing the origins of the Silk Roads, which were originally established during the Han Dynasty in China, 206 BCE to 220 CE. These routes allowed for the exchange of goods such as silk, spices, and precious metals between China and the Mediterranean world. Over time, these trade routes expanded and evolved, becoming a network of interconnected paths that stretched from East Asia to Europe, North Africa, and South Asia. The Silk Roads were not only vital for the exchange of goods but also served as conduits for the spread of ideas, technologies, and cultural practices. Frankopan emphasizes that the Silk Roads were not static entities but dynamic networks that constantly adapted to changing political and economic conditions. For example, during the Tang Dynasty, 618-97 CE, China's capital city, Chang'an, became a major center of trade and cultural exchange, attracting merchants and scholars from all over Asia and the Middle East. This period of prosperity was followed by periods of decline and fragmentation as various powers vied for control over the Silk Roads. The book also discusses the role of the Mongols in shaping the Silk Roads. Under the leadership of Genghis Khan and his successors, the Mongol Empire, 1206 to 1368 CE, expanded rapidly, conquering much of Eurasia and uniting the Silk Roads into a single vast trading network. The Mongols were not only skilled warriors, but also adept at fostering trade and encouraging cultural exchange. They established a stable political environment that allowed merchants to travel safely along the routes, and they also built infrastructure such as caravanserais, inns for travelers, and postal systems. The book then turns to the impact of European expansion on the Silk Roads. During the Age of Exploration, 15th centuries, European powers such as Portugal, Spain, France, and England began to establish colonies and trade routes around the world, often at the expense of existing Asian trade networks. However, Frankopan argues that European expansion did not mark the end of the Silk Roads, but rather a new phase in their development. European powers became increasingly interested in accessing the wealth and resources of Asia, leading to renewed interest in the Silk Roads and a period of intense competition for control over these routes. The book also examines the role of the Russian Empire in shaping the Silk Roads. Russia's expansion southward into Central Asia during the 18th and 19th centuries brought it into direct contact with the Silk Roads, and the Russian government actively sought to exploit this strategic position for economic and political gain. Russia established trading posts and forts along the routes, and its rulers often courted merchants and traders from other parts of Eurasia in an effort to promote commerce and foster good relations. In the 20th century, the Silk Roads underwent significant changes due to political upheavals and global conflicts. The collapse of the Russian Empire and the rise of nationalist movements in Central Asia led to the fragmentation of the Silk Roads into smaller, competing networks. Meanwhile, the First and Second World Wars disrupted global trade routes and diverted attention away from the Silk Roads. However, Frankopan argues that the post-war era saw a renewed interest in the Silk Roads, as countries sought to rebuild their economies and establish new trade relationships. The book concludes by discussing the present-day significance of the Silk Roads. Frankopan argues that the contemporary world is deeply interconnected and interdependent, and that the Silk Roads continue to play a vital role in this global system. He points to the rise of China as a major economic power and its efforts to revitalize the Silk Roads through initiatives such as the Belt and Road Initiative. The BRI is a massive infrastructure project that aims to connect China with Europe and Africa via a network of roads, railways, ports, and other facilities. Frankopan also discusses the role of other major powers, such as Russia and the United States, in shaping the future of the Silk Roads. In summary, The New Silk Roads by Peter Frankopan provides a comprehensive and nuanced exploration of the historical and contemporary significance of the Silk Roads. Through its detailed analysis of political, economic, and cultural forces, the book demonstrates that the Silk Roads have been, and continue to be, a central axis of global connectivity and exchange. As the world continues to evolve and new challenges emerge, Understanding the role of the Silk Roads in shaping our past and present becomes increasingly important for envisioning our collective future.